Hey guys, it's Dr. Jansen, and in this lesson we're going to talk about slope-intercept form and rewriting equations in slope-intercept form. So let's get started. All right, first, let's just talk about slope-intercept form in general. This is such an important concept because it does not go away. I always tell my students it's one of those things that when we have this lesson, I say it's going to change your math lives forever because starting today, you're going to learn something that you're just going to see for the rest of your mathematical life. So here we have this thing called slope-intercept form, and it's this form we see right here, y equals mx plus b. Just put that right in there, say it over and over as many times as you need to. Y equals mx plus b, y equals mx plus b, slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, slope-intercept form, whatever you need to do. Slope-intercept form is this form, y equals mx plus b. And what this really means, what we see here as m is actually our slope. And it's just m. It's really important that we recognize that it's only what is ever right up against x here, okay? Right up against x, touching x, being multiplied by x, that is what is going to be our slope when our equation is written in this form, y equals mx plus b. Then over here, whatever is our plus b, which what I mean by our plus b is whatever is this sign and whatever is this value here. So it might be positive, it might be a plus 7, or it might be a plus 10, but this value could also just as easily be negative. It could just as easily be a minus 3 or a minus 6, and that's totally fine as well. So this is what we are going to refer to as our y-intercept. And sometimes we write that as just our y-int for short. Okay? Y-intercept is our plus b all the way over on the far right, which again can be any plus or minus value, and you're going to see that just represented by a number. And it's really important that you include the sign though, because again, it could be positive or negative. And then our slope, again, is just whatever number is right up here, right against x, okay? So that is what slope-intercept form means. So let's try writing out some equations here just to get some practice in. So for example, if we had the equation y equals 2x plus 4, and we needed to identify, well, which part of this is our slope and which part is our y-intercept. Well, our slope would be our 2 right here because, again, it's what's right up against our x, what's being multiplied by x. So this 2 would be our slope. So the slope here is 2. And then our y-intercept would be positive 4. Again, it's really important that you include that sign. And our y-intercept would be positive 4. Let's try one more of these out. What if our equation was y equals 3/5 x minus 6. Again, we're looking for our slope, and our slope is going to be whatever part is right up against x. It's also really important to note that in order for us to be able to pull out our slope and our y-intercept like this, it has to be in this form. It has to be in slope-intercept form, which again is y equals mx, which is our slope right up against here, and then plus b, which again, it can be a plus or minus, but it's got to be in this form for us to be able to pull out our slope and y-intercept like this. So just making sure we understand that. So we've got 3/5 here, which is our slope. Write that down here as well. And then over here to the right, again, always including our sign, we have our y-intercept of -6. And there we go. We've identified in these few problems, when they are in slope-intercept form, our slope and our y-intercept. Okay, so it's really important that we are able to do that. So now I'm going to show you a few examples of when our equation is not given to us in slope-intercept form, of how to go ahead and rewrite those equations. So here, I'll go ahead and number these. Here's the first one, 3x plus y equals 4. So our goal here is to just rearrange this equation and to get y alone, okay? Just like we would in any other equation in which we were trying to isolate our variable. So in order to do that, we're gonna have to get rid of this 3x. We can see there's no sign here, which indicates it's a positive 3x. So the opposite of positive 3x, or its inverse, is to subtract 3x. If I subtract 3x from that side, I have to subtract 3x from the other side to keep my equation balanced. These cancel out, and I am left with y equals, and now I can choose how I'm going to rewrite this. I could either rewrite this as 4 minus 3x or negative 3x plus 4. But if I look all the way back up here at the top, guys, my goal is to write this in slope-intercept form. And in slope-intercept form, my x value comes first. My value that has that number attached to it in front of the x. So I'm actually going to write negative 3x plus 4. I am very consciously choosing to do that because now, ta-da, I am left with an equation that is beautifully written in slope-intercept form. Amazing. All right, let's do another one. Number 2, negative 2x plus 3y equals 6. Same thing, I'm trying to get my y value all alone here. So I have 3y sitting here, and I have negative 2x sitting here. This 3 and y are attached by multiplication, but the first thing I need to get rid of is this minus 2x. That's definitely what I've got to move over to the other side first. So again, the opposite of minus 2x is plus 2x. So I'm going to get rid of that first. These cancel, and I'm left with 3y equals, again, I'm going to very consciously choose to put plus 2x first, because that's going to help me in my steps and efforts to put this in slope-intercept form. Now my equation is almost completely in slope-intercept form. I've got my x value with the number being multiplied next to it in the right order. I've got my y-intercept right over on that right side in the right order. The only thing is that my y value is not alone. And if we go all the way back up to the top, you can see in order for my equation to be in slope-intercept form, that y value has to be all by itself. That is really important. So it has to be isolated. And in this one, it is not. So in order to complete putting my equation in slope-intercept form, I need to divide y by 3. And when I do that, to keep my equation balanced, I have to divide everything on the other side of the equation by 3 as well. So I have to divide 2 in front of the x by 3. And I'm going to have to divide this positive 6 by 3. See how I'm always making sure I include that sign. And I'm left with y equals 2/3 x plus positive 6 divided by 3 was 2. And I'm left with my final equation of y equals 2/3 x plus 2. Great job, you just put that equation in slope-intercept form. Way to go.